each of those in the order played. Auto doubling, which is controlled by the parameters under the auto double heading in the edit mode, allows you to have up to 8 doubles on different channels at different transposes for each one, independently programmable with each program. Program 5 is similar to Program 4, except that the doubles are defined in real time from the keyboard. For example, if we simply hold down a simple interval and then play notes in the lower octave relative to the C below middle C, we define completely new sets of doubles in real time to play along with the notes that we're holding. How the double list grows until you lift all of the notes off and then restarts with the next note. Program 6 will demonstrate the ability of the CYCLONE to perform automatic transpositions by inversions. An inversion is simply playing a chord in the different musical inversions which we're all taught in basic piano, which are first inversion, second inversion, and third inversion. The CYCLONE simply performs arpeggiations in, let's turn CYCLONE off and we'll play it in slow motion here. If that's the first inversion, it will play repetitively that, then that, which is the natural way that a person arpeggiates. So if I turn it on, we'll hear how it does that automatically. Again, it plays them in the order received, so if I played them more systematically, it's easier to hear. Again, you can play around with it. To get more interesting effects. Program 7 demonstrates another automatic transposition feature of the CYCLONE, which is transposition by by recursion. Recursion simply allows you to add an interval with each repeat of the auto-transpose stage. So here we hear at each octave how it will play a chromatic step, 4 chromatic steps of each version of the octave. If you only play one note, it really zips through pretty quick. And if you play a lot of notes, it can be pretty exotic. Program 8 demonstrates the ability of the CYCLONE to perform auto-record. Notice as soon as you select Program 8, it comes up with record hold flashing, indicating that it's ready to receive notes from the keyboard. And the first notes on the keyboard will be automatically held into the CYCLONE's memory and played back as follows. Notice though that we're still ready to record. Every time you lift your hand off, it goes back to record ready to receive a new set of notes until you lift off, in which case it starts flashing again. This is a very useful live performance feature, as it allows you to simply reach over and touch the keyboard with the chord you want at the point you want it. Output can be shut off by simply pressing a note in the lower octave of the keyboard. This is simply because the CYCLONE records all notes in the lower octave as rests. To restart, simply play another chord. You can go on like this all day without ever doing anything except putting in the new chord for the CYCLONE to arpeggiate and shutting it off at will. Program 9 demonstrates the ability of the CYCLONE to modulate a couple of key characteristics of the arpeggiation playback in real time from the keyboard using pressure. The characteristics which are modified are the tempo of the playback and also the duration of the notes. If you listen, it's at a fairly slow tempo with a very legato feel. As I press harder, the tempo speeds up and you get a more staccato feel. As I let go, it slows down. Speed up, slow down. The ability to modulate the tempo and the duration are normally assigned to the levers and the pitch bend wheel. Lever 1 controlling the duration mod, and the pitch bend controlling the tempo. Program 10 provides a auto-transpose list, which is different than standard octaves, in order to demonstrate the ability to put this into more of a particular song context. This one is called emersonic because of the nature of the progression used, being very reminiscent of ELP. Again, we can use tempo tap to speed it up to a tempo which would be more reminiscent of ELP. Demonstrates the ability of the CYCLONE to perform random functions that turns on both the random order and the random mode simultaneously, so that you can get very random playbacks. Next we'll demonstrate program 12, but in order for it to demonstrate the factory sequence, you first have to select program 16. This reloads the record buffer with the factory demo sequence, which is the function of program 12. It will start playing back as soon as you enable program 12, the factory sequence. You can use the clone button to stop the playback, and you can also use this mode to record a short sample sequence of your own. You do this by simply pressing the record button to get the LED to flash, indicating you're about to record, then pressing clone, and if you have the audio hooked up and turn it up on your mixer, you'll get an audio click, which gives you the tempo. We'll use the tempo tab to give it something I can play to, and then we'll play away here. Press the record button to stop the recording, and it will automatically play back what you just heard. It will cycle through that sequence, and as long as the cycle button is lit. Notice since I did not have an exact stopping point, there's a small gap at the end. I can take this out by going into edit mode, pressing mode to go into edit mode, then pressing the record hold button to select the record hold options, using the arrow keys to select the EB parameter, which stands for end beat. Then press enter. Notice I have 2 extra beats in here that I probably don't want. I probably want a 16 beat pattern. So I change that. And here we hear it roll back around without the gap at the end. To have it end naturally at the end, you can simply turn off the cycle button and it will stop playback automatically at the end of the next complete cycle, as it does there. Then you can play it back one shot simply by pressing clone, and it'll simply play it once and stop. Program 12 for a real-time performance sequencer by pressing record hold and then clone to get the click out, and recording a simple pattern. Now if I'd had cycle on, it would have simply gone on arpeggiating. Then to transpose this real time, turn on manual control, which gates the playback from the control region, simultaneously transposing it. So that when I use the lower octaves now, CYCLONE will transpose relative to the notes played, relative to the low C. Demonstrate program 13. First of all, record a rhythmic pattern in program 12. You don't have to worry about what pitches you play. You're just concentrating on recording a rhythm pattern, which will have a definite character. Alright, now we remember that pattern. And we move on to program 13. That pattern is still in the record buffer, and we can use it to demonstrate what 13 does, which is to play back the rhythm pattern in 12, recorded in 12, notice that we have a tempo which is